What is the essence of the new economy? It's the digital delivery of services via apps, cloud computing, e-commerce, MOOCs, and many similar innovations that digitize services. How can we encapsulate this multifaceted, rapidly accelerating, omnidirectional change? We propose the concept of service thinking. Service thinking synthesizes 7 principles of change, 3 in the customer's world, 4 in the service provider's world, into an innovative model for the management of service innovation. First, the output of business has changed from tangible to intangible. The output of business is now an experience, and the experience is subjectively evaluated by the customer, rather than objectively evaluated by the provider. We don't know what we have produced until the customer evaluates it through their own experiential lens, which is dependent on their unique perspective, their attitudes, their values, and their emotional state. This places the provider and customer in a totally new relationship. The customer role is transformed from acting as the monetizer at the end of the value chain to that of co-creator, co-producer, and co-innovator. The provider makes a value proposition, but produces no value until the customer commits their resources to co-creation. The responsibilities for both parties are new. Even then, the value that is co-created can be realized only in context. The customer judges the value proposition in the context of their own service system, the networked and nested system of providers, partners, and peers that they dynamically assemble to achieve their end goal. A customer's healthcare system, for example, integrates doctors and other professionals, clinics, hospitals and locations, technology, pharmaceuticals, advice from peers and online resources, and many other components. The customer evaluates new offerings for consonance. Do they fit the service system? And resonance. Can they prove that they produce new value? If so, the customer will dynamically reassemble their service system to include the new offering and possibly replace existing ones. Service systems are continually changing to improve value co-creation. No provider can rest in the constant search for improved experiences by the customer. The required service provider adaptation to the dynamics of service systems is specialization with integration. Specialization is the refinement of focus on areas where the provider can achieve absolute advantage in proving resonance. Integration is required for the specialist offering to maintain consonance with the service system. As a result, business architecture is changing. Componentization is the rethinking of organizational design into an assembly of self-sufficient components for delivering specialization. And these components can be either internally or externally integrated together. Scale is no longer defined by one enterprise controlling resources, but by multiple components sharing resources for a common goal. An enabling technology for componentization and scale through sharing is the global platform into which components can plug in. We call these platforms GLOMOSO, global, mobile, and social. The smartphone is a clear example, enabling startup businesses to achieve global scale without owning global resources, changing the nature of the service experience through mobile delivery, and constantly improving through the social nature of customer co-creation on the smartphone platform. We can also think of FedEx's global distribution and delivery infrastructure as a GLOMOSO platform, enabling the smallest retailer to reach the world through an Amazon.com retail storefront component plus a global delivery capability component from FedEx. All of these principles connote speed of change. To keep up, there must be speed of learning. Speed of learning is the only source of true advantage. Enterprise governance systems must adapt to the speed of learning through a principle we call RTI, Run, Transform, Innovate. Enterprises must become ultra efficient, reducing the percentage of resources dedicated to R, just running the business, and shift resources to the future to transform, identifying and borrowing known practices from others, and innovate, creating disruptive new best practices. Amidst all this change, the metrics of success are different. One-sided metrics of revenue, profit, and units produced are not enough. Even two-sided metrics like Net Promoter Score are inadequate. Service thinking requires multi-sided metrics which measure the provider's value proposition quality, the customer's evaluation of consonance and resonance, and the perceptions of other stakeholders and of authorities. The definition of customer satisfaction and loyalty changes to incorporate all four evaluations. Service thinking synthesizes these 7 principles into a dynamic, nonlinear model. We have applied it to the service innovation evolution of several industries, including healthcare, automotive, and tech services, and we aim to develop normative data for many more service industries. Brought to you by CVC Group.